when we're watching the sort of classic American politicians who are, basically peddling Hamas propaganda, either in House or the Senate, sometimes we forget about Bernie Sanders, who's not part of the squad. He's not sort of your Ilhan Omar. He's not your Rashida Tlaib. Yet he is as vicious as them, and he manages to connect anti-Semitism and anti-capitalism in his speeches pretty well. He has recently been on a stage with Mamdani, the possible future mayor of New York City, and today we'll cover that specific one of the clips that came out of that, as well as one of his sort of official clips on a campaign. So we'll go through both of them and comment on them. Welcome to the Daily Objective. Joining me today is Alex. And before we go further, maybe just two quick sort of news I've seen. Apparently, Danish foreign ministers announced that they are not planning to recognize the Palestinian state. So that's a welcome sort of addition. And also something I've seen a bunch of people, 170 professionals in the fields of genocide, international law, Holocaust, and anti-Semitism have demanded the International Association of Genocide Scholars resigned their resolution against Israel. Alex, any opening thoughts, or should we go to the clip?
I don't know where to start. Between the Danish and the genocide scholars, it's really difficult. But let's just go straight to the clip because it's always a fun day with Bernie Sanders, that old crackpot socialist freak.
Okay, let's watch.
That we should not be spending tens of billions of dollars on the government of Israel that is currently starving children to death. That is not radical. That is what the American people want. So, brothers and sisters, what this struggle is about, and let me not kid you, it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough because these guys, these oligarchs, they are very religious people. Their religion is greed.
So I have a few things to say about that, but I'll go to you, Alex, first. Any thoughts?
I love it how he goes, oh, those oligarchs whose religion is greed, as if whatever it is that Bernie Sanders believes in isn't entirely religious. I mean, said that Fidel Castro's regime that he was invigorated when they had their revolution because it was right that the power was in the hands of the poor people and not, as he said it, ugly rich people. Also said, I think, another classic from Bernie Sanders was that, yeah, okay, fine, there's been some human abuse, violations, atrocities by Castro, but hey, I mean, his literacy program is just phenomenal. Yeah, what does it even matter when Cuban doctors, okay, have to go abroad sometimes and work in slave jobs, actual slavery, okay, to earn money for the regime, and it doesn't work out for you to be a doctor in Cuba. If you're a doctor in Cuba, you moonlight as a taxi driver, right? So that you can, put food on the table. So that you still need to participate in the black market economy. So Venezuela, another one, said that he loved shopping in their government supermarkets. I mean, that is deeply religious because, okay, fine, be a socialist in 1920s, 1930s, when people were having their whole hands chopped off in, machines, right? That you would have said, oh, there's not enough, rules for workers or protections for workers. It's whatever. But now we know that it's an economic system. It's a failure. It doesn't produce anything besides corpses, it seems. it's, you know, and yet he continues to bang the drum, bang the drum, bang the drum, bang the drum.
Yeah, and well, you know, you say about socialism, but the fact is, he is on the stage with Mamdani. As I've said, the possible mayor of New York, somebody who wants to establish government-run food stores. I mean, again, as somebody like it's no, I'm not sure if I ever told you this story. You know, I live in Slovakia. It used to be Czechoslovakia, a communist state. There was a time where we wanted to export some of our goods, and we couldn't find a Western market because everything we tried to export when it comes to food had too much lead in it. So again, this idea that even that socialism even manages to sort of like do anything properly, right? Like, and in the same way, the only way to get quality food in Czechoslovakia was from Western imports, and it was like an interesting thing. Basically, we had like Western stores, but you couldn't pay in them with sort of like local currency. You basically had to get your hands on dollars if you ever hope to actually get some Western goods. And so something specific that Bernie Sanders brought up that was interesting is, you know, these guys, these oligarchs are very religious.
Oligarchs.
Religious. Their religion is greed. You know, I have a quote from here. People can try to guess who it is from. What is the worldly religion of the Jew? Huckstering. What is his worldly
Mm,
god? Money. Money is the
mm,
jealous god of Israel. Now you might think, you know, what is this, like Adolf Hitler? No, of course, this is Karl Marx on the Jewish question, which is the essay he wrote. So yeah, this connection between and Bernie Sanders speaking out as a Jewish person, right? This connection between anti-Semitism and anti-capitalism. I mean, he goes on and on about
mhm,
sort of spending money on Israel. He goes on about, you know, starving children to death. Again, like spreading propaganda. There never was like Israel, unfortunately, made sure there is enough aid going into Israel. Oh, sorry, going into Gaza. And every time they sort of blocked some of the food from going in or some resources from going in, they only waited until Gaza actually started running out of those resources and then they resumed them. So there never was, and still isn't. I think I've recently seen on X somebody posted that according to the organization that decides if there is a famine or not, there should be about 3,000 people dead from starvation, and there simply aren't. So again, this propaganda is being spread again and again, and it's never actually true. Alex?
well, yeah. But you know, there's something people have been speaking, you know, Mamdani's father famously wanted to have basically started like a corporation, not a corporation, a cooperation with North Korea, so that they could have like better understanding, better friendship and understanding, and so that they could tell people about Juche, which is Kim is it's Kim Il Sungism actually. So it's like the Juche is the Korean socialism, Korean brand of communism, basically. And people have often said, "Oh, he really is his father's son," and I don't think so. I think that Mamdani is his mother's son. The mother is the Hollywood producer. He is a fake person. He is a fake. Bernie Sanders, you can tell when he's speaking, he walks the walk. He talks the talk. I hate it. It turns my stomach, but there is authenticity there. There is. Okay. Whereas, I mean, you know, the him even mentioning that you can feel he's really absorbed Karl Marx, right? The speaking and the essays that are reverberating back to the Jewish question. Well, but then when Mamdani speaks, what does he say? oh, we're gonna seize the means of production. It's like, yeah, the dumbest thing that any 13-year-old who's seen like a 15-minute infomercial on Marx could quote to you, right? There's zero authenticity there in these types of people. And that's the reason why Bernie persists, I think, because he's a true believer, right? He's a true zealot, a true religious zealot, and he simply will not uh, disappear from the political scene. And let's even for I mean the he's talking he makes so many massive, I don't even want to call them misrepresentations. I mean, they're lies. Bernie Sanders is an old politician who has been around the block, who definitely knows what he's talking about. He knows that none of the money goes to the government of Israel. Doesn't pay the salaries, doesn't do this. It is.
Well, we'll see in the next clip exactly how he talks about it. But yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, yeah. I didn't actually see the second part. I only saw the bit where he's talking about it's going to
Let's
yeah.
just quickly watch and yeah, we can comment.
Okay, go ahead.
What's going on in Gaza right now is literally unspeakable. We're talking about some 62,000 people minimum who've already been killed, the majority of whom are women, children, and the elderly. We're talking about not just about 140,000 people who have been injured. Again, that's probably an undercount. We're talking not just about the complete destruction of the infrastructure in Gaza, that is housing, water systems, wastewater plants, schools, universities, you name it. I mean, it's all been destroyed. Now what we're talking about is a blockade on the part of the Israeli military, which is preventing food from coming in, and hundreds of people are starving to death. So we're now at a level of barbarism, of starving of children. I have worked for the last many months in trying to prevent any more U.S. military aid going through the Netanyahu government to continue this destruction of the Palestinian people. We are making some progress. The last vote we had a pretty good majority of Democrats opposing U.S. military aid to Netanyahu, 0 Republicans. But let me be very clear. We are not going to stop. We're going to continue to move forward. The American people are with us, and let's do everything we can to get not only more Democrats on board, but to get some Republicans on board as well. The truth of the matter is very few Americans believe that it makes any sense from a moral perspective, economic perspective, whatever, to put billions and billions of dollars into a government that is starving children. So let's go forward together. Let's end this horrible disaster. Let's end American complicity in this slaughter. Thank you.
So, by the way, he starts with saying literally unspeakable, and then he speaks about it. I mean, come on, like words have meaning. But I mean, like, well, first he talks about preventing food from going in. Again, Israel should prevent the food from going in. Israel is not doing that, so that's a lie. Even the fact that he brings up numbers, and I love how they always say this probably an undercount. I mean, it's always apparently an undercount. It's never the actual number. Apparently, it's always undercount somehow. And of course, dropping on the context of why this war is even happening. And then when he talks about the money, to Netanyahu government, personally, we are sending the money to Netanyahu's checking account so we can go and kill Palestinian children. I mean, he speaks about Israel the same way many of the Republicans or many of the really stupid people on the right talk about Ukraine. Oh, we're sending the money to Zelensky, and Zelensky is doing this. I mean, it's the same kind of like BS. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, listen, there may be okay, when the Republicans are saying that, they're not saying it with any kind of the idiots are saying that they're not saying it with any nuance to it there, right? But of course, I mean there is corruption, of course, going on in Ukraine. And I think that there is actually a differentiator there, because in Israel, the idea that Bibi would get away with corruption, they would lock him up if he even had a thought about it. He wouldn't be able to bribe his way out of that, I can assure you, right? They'll lock him up for, imaginary corruption. But they're not, they would never make that kind of claim. But I mean, so what is he trying to say here? Is he trying to say that you need to have the government choose to have an embargo, meaning that American companies can no longer sell to these to Israel? Is that something that he's advocating for, or is he advocating for the kind of the military aid thing, right? It's not clear. It's not clear to me either where he's getting these numbers. Well, even just the idea, if you run with the idea of the children, right? The idea that there's been so many children that have died. Probably there's been quite a lot. And I think that definitely is a conversation in and of itself. Why are there so many children that have been drafted into Hamas? Why are there so many combatant children, child soldiers, right? That have died, that have been killed. Why is that? What's the average? What does Bernie Sanders think the average age of a new conscript, right, is? Or I suppose not even conscript, because they don't really force them, they have to bribe them. I suppose a new recruit is into the armed wing of Hamas. Is it 14, 15, somewhere around that area, right? Well, they're definitely not adults. And it's always going to be children from very weak families. So that's a discussion, but no. There are children dying. That's all that. There's no context to that whatsoever, right? It's the same. You are a child killer if a child comes to your home with a bomb strapped to it, and then you're a child killer. That's it. There's no context. Yeah, it's the same. You're the same as Ted Bundy, right? It's totally the same. But he can continue to bang on this drum because it works. It works. He's not here to educate, is he, Bernie Sanders, right? Despite the fact that, Cuba has better literacy rates than America. He's not here to educate. He's dealing with a captive audience who are just going to listen to what he says because it appeals to something deeper there. He's appealing to a tremendous amount of negativity about capitalism, negativity about productiveness, negativity about the nature of what it means to defend yourself. This is and the victim mentality as well. It's what goes nowadays.
Yeah, and of course, even when it comes to sort of people dying in Gaza, of course, all of it is on the Palestinians who are choosing to continue this war. But we do have to start wrapping up since we have the Sunday Spark today. But just quickly, because people always sort of like mention this about Bernie Sanders, like, oh, he has 3 million, but he goes on against like millionaires. Whenever I see the net worth of Bernie Sanders, I feel like, okay, he must have screwed up something much. How does he have so little money? If you actually count up the fact that he's like a senator for like 18 years at this point, he was a congressman beforehand, and he was a mayor of that. And from all of that, and he's in his like 70s right now? Or he's in his 80s. Like this is like he's basically retired and he only has 3 millions. I think he kind of screwed up somewhere.
Well, I think, so what is it that senators get paid? I think it's like
173,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, the thing is, I'm not entirely sure who would really want to like pay him. Like what company's going to want to pay him for, because he's always kind of been a clownish figure. And if you are a clownish figure like him, who is only really going to win areas that that's he's an independent, I think, right now, and so he's people are not really going to get behind it because even they kind of know it's a joke. Even Mamdani, if he did win, then his rhetoric would be would change very, very quickly because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, when they ask you to start delivering on some of your promises, yeah, then you're going to be in really hot water. But whereas Bernie Sanders, he's kind of in this perfect place because he doesn't have to deliver on anything. He's always going to be the victim, right? He's always going to be the victim of a terrible cabal of capitalists who are just oligarch capitalists, who are just oligarch capitalist child killers or whatever. I mean, please, just just in fact, stay, because you know it's good for something. I wish he would win. I wish he would win for I wish he would win for like a month or 2 months. It's a little bit like when Egypt had they had their Muslim Brotherhood coup. Yeah, they literally were begging for help after 6 months, and they were just like, how are we going to get rid of these people? I think the approval ratings was down at like 5%. Yeah, let him have it. You think you want it? Have it for a month. Enjoy.
Well, let's hope not. And as I always say, I think Bernie Sanders is way too crazy even for the current American people. So I think if he ever won a primary, that's a free win for Republicans. And I think no matter who they put in there. We have a super chat from Bonnie. Thank you so much. A super chat from Jonathan. Thank you so much. He says Sunday Spark coming up, and yes, that is coming up. Today we'll have Mark Schuppe on, and Jonathan Honig will actually be interviewing him. So make sure to join that. The link to that is in the chat. With that, thank you, Alex, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you on the Sunday Spark in just a few minutes. Thank you again, and bye bye.